What's up, everybody? You're tuned in to the Cris Style
Mo.
Podcast, episode 224, Takeover Wednesday. Hope everybody's having a good night, whatever you're doing. You're at home, you're at work. We appreciate y'all tapping into the live stream. If you're listening on the playback, we appreciate you too. We got a few things to get into. We got some breaking news coming in as we jump on the podcast. We also got to talk about another coaching change in a prestigious football team. And we got some NBA stuff. We're also going to give our predictions for the divisional round. We're going to talk about national championship, more so preview. We might just do our real picks on Monday, but we'll do a little preview. And then, of course, Mom's random news. So before we get into that, Mom, how you feeling, man?
I feel all right, man. Going through some little pains and aches, man, but I'll make it through. I'll
Oh,
survive.
ass nigga. No.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I've been struggling the last couple of days, but I'll be all right, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I can't complain. Can't complain at all, man. But let's get into this stuff, man. Breaking news: Jordan Shorts and a few, I think Adam Scheffner, a few people are saying that the New York Football Giants and John Harbaugh are close to finalizing a deal for him to become the new football coach for them. There's already been talks of this morning that he was there meeting up with them, and they were doing everything they can to not let him leave the building. I don't know what this means for their GM, Joe Shane. Maybe he's still there. They say a lot of people say he's still going to be kept, but there is a chance that if John Harbaugh wanted him gone, that they would let him go. So, how you feeling, man? Do you think this was a good hire from the Giants? Do you think they should have went somewhere else?
Nah, man. I think it's a great hire. No matter how we felt Harbaugh was doing with the Baltimore Ravens, we can't underestimate who he is as a coach. Still a great coach. I think I think Giants fans should be excited. I think with having Jackson Dart, Malik Neighbors, that defensive line, which is really, really good. I think it'd be good. Now, I'm gonna be kind of curious to see who he brings in with his OC. Now, if you're telling me it's gonna be like Todd Monken, then I don't know about all that. I think his play style is a little outdated, but it would fit in the sense of the schemes of who Jackson Dart is. He has some similar traits to Lamar Jackson. Obviously, I think Lamar Jackson is a better thrower of the football, but they're both athletic quarterbacks who obviously who can scramble and get outside the pocket. So I like the running game that they have with Cam Scatterboo, Tyrone Tracy Jr. Obviously, this is like Malik Neighbors might be the best receiver he's had his whole tenure as a head coach. So and this defensive line, sky's the limit with this defensive line as well. Obviously, there's some back end stuff on that defense that does need to be filled, but I think overall, man, I think Giants fans should be really excited. You got one of the top head coaches that was available through this cycle, and I think at the end of the day, man, I think they should be really truly excited to have John Harbaugh now with him gone. Now, hopefully, we start seeing the rest of these dominoes fall with these head coaching, especially with my team, with my Raiders and stuff like that. It's been a lot of names, but I think with him being off the board, I think we start seeing a lot of names start coming off here pretty quick, probably going into the weekend and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. Well, first with the Giants, I do think this was a good hire. They got somebody who's knows how to build structure, build a culture. He's going to bring that to the Giants. He got a quarterback in place already with Jackson Dart. You got Malik Neighbors, like you said, some of the pieces that's already in place right there. He just got to add to it. It's going to be interesting to see who his OC and DC is going to be coming over. Does he, go with familiarity, or does he bring somebody in that's young, up and coming? Maybe he brings in Cliff Kingsbury, or maybe he tries to get a Mike McDaniels to come over there to be the OC. And then try to hire, one of these young up and coming defensive minded guys to come be his DC, or maybe he pulls from somebody already. Maybe he tries to bring Tom Monken over. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But it's going to be interesting to see who's on his staff this time around when he goes to the Giants. But as far as everybody else, I do agree. I said this, that he was the first domino to hit. Once he drops, then everybody else is just going to fall in place. I think the next, in the the NFL circles, I think the next domino to fall probably will be Kevin Stefanski or Mike McDaniel, maybe even Brian Flores to see where they go. Maybe even Robert Saleh. I know he's still in the playoffs right now, so it might take him a little bit of time. But Brian Flores and Kevin Stefanski might be next. I know the Falcons were really high on John Harbaugh, so maybe the Falcons, pivot over to Kevin Stefanski and try to get him over there to be the new head coach. So, and then Brian Flores, I can see him probably going to the Steelers, maybe even the Ravens himself, maybe even your team. So, it's gonna be interesting to see where everybody else go.
No, yeah, for sure. I agree with you. I think Kevin Stefanski will probably be the next domino because I think obviously you still got names out there like Robert Saleh, he's still in the playoffs. Clint Kubiak, he's still in the playoffs. So obviously, their minds are somewhere else. Like, I know they've been doing their interviews here and there, but obviously they got big games coming up this weekend. So obviously, if their teams get eliminated, obviously I could see those guys maybe getting picked up as well, probably by next week. I'm very curious to see where Kevin Stefanski goes. I think he will be the next name to fall. I would assume it's either between the Falcons and the Tennessee Titans for me, that whichever one he will go to. And then I think after that, I think Kubiak might be the next big domino to fall after those two guys. I think his name is highly sought out for. And honestly, it seems like people love the Rams OCs and passing coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
I think those guys will get big looks at, and I think Brian Flores is probably the most controversial one. Just with his past history and stuff like that. I think he's elevated from who he was when he was with the Miami Dolphins head coach. I'm not going to sit here and act like my man hasn't grown and learned from his mistakes. I think he's a grown-ass man. I'm sure if he could do things different when he was with the Miami Dolphins, I'm sure he would. I'm sure he's burned bridges. I'm not going to sit here and deny any of that, but I think he's just a controversial thing just based off of people curious to see how he would handle his next stint. I think he will get a next stint, and no matter where he go, I think he'll be a very successful head coach. I really do. I think Brian Flores will be that, but I think he'll be an interesting name to see where he goes if he does get a job.
I think the favorite to me is Pittsburgh because he's been in that building before. He's coached.
I say Pittsburgh or Raiders.
Yeah, he's
Pittsburgh
coached
Raiders, something like that.
The Rooneys are familiar with him being on that coaching staff with Tomlin. I can see Tomlin kind of, hey man, my man Flores, I think he should deserve this job. Kind of put a recommendation in for him or whatever. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he was with y'all. I kind of see a Clint Kubiak or Robert Saleh for you guys, somebody like that. But
I wouldn't sleep on the Ravens for Brian Flores either. I wouldn't sleep on him.
Yeah, I wouldn't either because I could see Flores saying, you know what, let me go somewhere where a quarterback is at. So.
Because I'm like, if you look at the jobs, I think the Baltimore Ravens are the more attractable job than the Steelers. Like you have Lamar Jackson there. Like Steelers, what are you hoping for? Aaron Rodgers to come back next year? Like that's like I don't know if that's even 50-50 at this point. So I think right now, the most unattractive job right now, I think has to be either the Browns situation, even though I do like the talent that they have on the Browns, but you are salary cap stricken to the core. Even though you do have some draft assets there. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers job, I get the historic value of it and the consistency of them having a coach, but I don't know, man. It's just what quarterback are you going to get into that system? You got DK Metcalf, like that defense is getting older. Like, it's a lot of transition going on. And then you picking up from what Mike Tomlin left off, that's heavy baggage to pick up, even though, I get it. Mike Tomlin's been, the king of, 500 football, but he's still a great coach, and people hold him to high regard in that franchise. So those are big shoes to kind of fill. It's going to be interesting to see who will be willing to take that job.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of Pittsburgh, we also learned that Mike Tomlin, he stepped down. He is no longer the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers after their loss to the Houston Texans on Monday night. We kind of saw this coming. It was time. It was time to part ways. I think I think Mike Tomlin finally was just getting burnt out. With the fans. Calling for his job and stuff like that. We haven't really heard the fan base like turned on them yet. But I think this year they finally just got fed up and was just like, I'm tired of the same thing over and over. Yeah, we make it to the playoffs, but we're not, viable threats in the AFC to make the Super Bowl. And it showed again, you know what I'm saying, in that Monday night game against the Texans. I mean, CJ Stroud did everything he could to keep him in that game, but um, still, you just saw the writing on the wall. And I just think that Mike Tomlin was just like, you know what, I'm just going to step down and move out of the way. I'm going to take a break. You already said that there's reports that he's going to take a break. He's going to, step into a TV role and do that for a year. And then maybe he's going to be Bill Cowher and never take a job, or he's just going to, or he'll, see what the prospects look like next year. So shout out to Mike Tomlin, though.
Nah, I think he'll come back. I think it's a situation with Mike Tomlin. I think he was just the Pittsburgh Steelers team is the true definition of a team that needed to lose. Like they needed to tank because at the end of the day, this team is kind of like been stuck in this hole of just being this 500 football team when we knew they were never really that good to compete with. They'll make the playoffs, but we knew they were always going to be a first round exit. This year, it was the same issue. We knew they weren't a really good football team. Let's be honest, the Baltimore Ravens should have probably won that game if it wasn't for the goddamn kicker. But I just think Mike Tomlin is such a great head coach and just the discipline that he has and just the respect that he garners from his locker room. I think it's just hard for them to lose those games that needed to be lost for them to be able to, get a high draft pick and maybe potentially get their future quarterback. You know what I mean? I think they were just kind of stuck ever since, Ben Roethlisberger, has left this franchise. I think they've just been kind of up and down. You know what I mean? I think Aaron Rodgers has probably been the best quarterback they had since Ben Roethlisberger. So, I think this will be I did say that this Pittsburgh Steelers job I don't think is the most attractive job to me, but at the end of the day, I think I don't think they're like far off in the sense of like I just think they need to go ahead and lose this upcoming season. Man, there's too many quarterbacks that are coming out in this draft. I know somebody even put a list on Twitter, man. It's at least a solid 7 names on that list that could potentially be some really solid quarterbacks. You know what I mean? And then a couple of them who can be elite quarterbacks who can be prominent MVP candidates. So, I'm going to be kind of interested to see what they do. I think if I'm the Steelers, I think I would, try to shed some cap, trade some veteran players that that aren't going to be there for the foreseeable future. Do you consider trading TJ Watt? Do you consider trading, some other assets that you potentially could get some draft capital for? I know you just signed DK Metcalf, but do you consider trading him? You know what I mean? Like he's not going to have a quarterback, and he's not going to be happy. So, especially if Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back, and I don't see Aaron Rodgers coming back without Mike Tomlin, and then you're not going to ask Aaron Rodgers for his input on a coaching hire. So I don't see that. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Steelers do.
Yeah, they got some decisions to make. They got to get the head coach part right. Let's see how that goes. And then from there, they got to make decisions on, how they're going to go about the quarterback situation. Do they get another stopgap? Maybe they call the Cardinals and maybe get Kyler Murray.
Yeah, that could be. I could see this being a Kyler Murray spot because I don't know if they even have the heart in them to tank in a sense. And I hate to use that word, but just set yourself up for failure so you can get a top draft pick, which I think that's what they should do. Now, will they do that? They probably won't. I think I could see the situation where I agree with you. Maybe they go after Kyle Murray. Maybe they go after Mac Jones. Maybe they go after, somebody like that. Even a Malik Willis, maybe a situation like I could see Malik Willis being on this team or something like that. I really could. Maybe they trade. Maybe they call the Raiders and maybe they trade for Geno or something like that. Maybe as a stopgap, and they know that Geno, we've seen better days from Geno. So maybe that might be a situation with him. He has some rapport with DK Metcalf as well. So, I think that could be a situation where, maybe they call the Raiders and be like, yo, we'll trade you like a 5th round pick or 4th round pick or something for Geno or something like that. So yeah, for sure. We're going to see, man. It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be interesting to see who wants to take this job and where they go from here, because it's a new era for Pittsburgh Steelers football.
and we'll see if they can get back to being one of the prominent teams in the AFC, because that whole AFC North is kind of in disarray now with three of the teams with no head coaches. You know what I'm saying? And then Bengals bringing back Zach Taylor, which still boggles my mind, but still, whatever.
Yeah, I still think it's the Ravens' division to lose.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I think if they hire a solid guy who, and honestly, with me, it's who they get to get some more creativity on that offensive side for Lamar Jackson, and then obviously I still think they need to be able to add more talent around him as well. I just think they need one more receiver. Whether it's see what's up with Brandon Ayuk, maybe see what's up with AJ Brown, situations like that. You know what I mean? I think they're one solid receiver away. I think this defense has gone through a lot of injuries. I think they'll be a lot better next year. They missed a couple guys on that defensive line. I forgot my man's name who had the neck injury. He was like their best D tackle.
Justin Nabika.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Hopefully he's able to come back off that neck injury next year. And then obviously, Kyle Hamilton, hopefully he can heal up, even though we know who he is. He's a great talent. But as I said, man, this man's hurt all the time. But maybe he might be lucky next year, and this team might be lucky with the injury stuff and stay healthy. But I still think this is the Ravens' division to lose.
Yeah, I agree. All right, man. Got any NBA news?
Yeah, we got a couple stuff, nothing crazy. First up, Charlotte Hornets, man. They announced that they will retire Dell Curry's number 30 number in March. What's your thoughts with this, man? Do you agree with them retiring the number, or you disagree?
No, I have no problem with them retiring. I mean, that's when you think of Dell Curry, that's the team you think of. You know what I'm saying? He was with them for a long time, and yeah, man, I ain't got no problem with it, man. Dell Curry was a very good shooter. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's no surprise that, Steph was the greatest shooter of all times, because his father was a great shooter. So, shout out to Dell, man. You know what I'm saying? He deserves to get his number retired with the Charlotte Hornets, man. I ain't got no problem with it.
No. Congratulations to Dell Curry, one of the greatest shooters in NBA history, man. I think it's well deserved, man. Congratulations to him, and I think Hornets fans are still holding out hope that maybe Steph Curry might join the squad in his later years and give some excitement to that team. So we'll have to wait and see what's up. I don't know if that will happen, but
do you trade Steph Curry for LaMelo Ball?
If I'm the Warriors, it's hard to do that just based on what Steph Curry means to that organization. I think it has to come from Steph. I think Steph will have to literally say, like, I don't want to be a part of this organization no more, for them to even open up to that trade. And even if you do, like, I get it, Steph Curry wanting to go back home, but is that the situation he would want to go to? You know what I mean? Would he want to go into a winning situation, or would he want to just, play for a hometown city that his dad used to play and put that uniform on and have another Curry jersey represented for the Charlotte Hornets? I don't know, but I think that would have to come from Steph. I can't see the Warriors going out their way to do that. Not even for LaMelo. I can't see that. So we'll have to see. Not like LaMelo, but I can't see that. Next up, man, the Houston Rockets, man, they've been kind of struggling, man. 23-14. The Phoenix Suns even overtook them in sixth place. They've been 6-4 the last 10 games. They're 23-14. Concerns? Do you have major concerns with this Rockets team? Do you think them not having a point guard since Fred VanVleet has not been available, do you think that has shown its defects? And who would you like to see them go after? I know Fred VanVleet has been rumored to be able to come back by playoffs, but that's still months away. Who would you like to see them go after, and what other things do you think they may need to fix this team?
Man, it's tough, man. I'm trying to think of a good point guard. Maybe Harden.
I think Harden will be the great fit. I just don't know if the Clippers would trade him. I think the Clippers should trade him, but Harden would be probably the best fit. Harden would be the best fit. I agree with you. I think Harden would be the best fit. Or LaMelo.
Yeah, LaMelo. I can see LaMelo. Trying to think of any point guard. What are all the point guards out there?
You got Ja available. You got maybe Lonzo Ball trade. Maybe
Lonzo would probably be the best as far as facilitator wise and setting up the offense.
Yeah, Lonzo will be a good fit. Lonzo will be good. He's been. I
and
haven't really
and,
been
and,
checking on him as far as
and
health.
on the defensive end too.
What about a Darius Garland? There's been rumors about maybe Cleveland Cavaliers could potentially trade
What's he
him.
doing this year? Because I ain't gonna lie, I ain't act like I'm.
He obviously Darius Garland's good. He's just been dealing with a lot of injuries. I think he even I think he injured his foot or something. Yeah, I think he injured his foot the last game, so he's going to be doubtful for the next couple games. So he's just been battling injuries, but when healthy, he's been performing a little bit well.
I mean, if he could stay healthy, then yeah, But if he can't stay healthy, then ain't no sense of trading for him.
Nah. What's your concern level for the Rockets? Do you have major concerns? Do you think they'll bounce back?
I have a little concern because I don't know, man. I'm not trying to put this at his feet, dog, but every time we see these Kevin Durant teams, man, they always go through these like little lows in the middle of the season, and then it goes into the playoffs, and it's just like it's always something up. Like wherever team outside of the Golden State years, and even in the early OKC days, ever since he left the Warriors, man, it's just like whatever team he goes to, it's just like they go through this. Like they just go through a losing streak, and I don't know. Sometimes I know sometimes it'd be injuries and stuff like that, even injuries to him too. But it's just like they got to figure that out. That part, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. Hopefully it's just easy as just getting the point guard in there and getting that offense a little bit more structured. But it just seems like with him, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I ain't trying to put it all on him. I'm just saying, like, with Kevin Durant team since he's left the Warriors, it's just always this. This is always like a reoccurring thing of whatever team he goes through this.
Yeah. Nah, yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. And next up, I gotta find this real quick. Hold on one second. Yeah. So last with the NBA news. The NBA, obviously they've announced that they're trying to start a Europe league. But per Euro Hoops Net, the current Euro league that's featured in Europe has threatened the NBA with a legal action for their NBA Europe project. The EuroLeague has officially informed the NBA that legal action may be taken if discussions about a new project in Europe between the U.S. League and clubs that have already committed to the EuroLeague for the next 10 years occur. According to Eurohoop sources, a letter was sent to the NBA by the EuroLeague last week, and all EuroLeague clubs currently holding an A license have been informed. What's your thoughts with this? Do you think this impedes the NBA Europe League that they've been trying to create, or do you think things will continue to go forward?
They're gonna figure out a way to make things go forward, man. They've been pushing this on us for a year now.
Yeah. We've been hearing talks about this for like a year now.
Yeah, they trying to push this through, dog. So they gonna figure it out.
Yeah, for sure.
They'll figure this out before they get the WNBA stream.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. That's all I got for NBA news tonight.
For sure. All right, man. Let's preview this college football national championship. It's a big one on Monday. It's in Miami. You know, all the stars are going to be out in Miami, especially from the U. Ray Lewis, Michael Irvin, Clinton Porter's. Like any Miami U football player from the past, they about to be in the building. You might see The Rock out there.
I think The Rock will be out there too. I wouldn't be surprised.
You might see The Rock come out there.
I think it's gonna be a star-studded event. I really do.
Yeah, but not just Miami U fans. There's gonna be other people there. Like everybody that you could think of is probably gonna try to be at this national.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Stephen A is already gonna be out there. All the big time people they're gonna be at this game.
Oh yeah.
So it's definitely gonna have the mystique and the aura of a national championship. Mm-hmm. Probably since in a long while. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like not to say none of these, not the past ones haven't, but this one has got a little different when the U was in there. You know what I'm saying? Like the U hasn't been here in a long time. You know what I'm saying? We've seen glimpses of it. Even with Cam Ward, if he had a better defense, man, they probably would have made it to these heights. Oh, yeah. So you've seen it. them trying to add to Miami, but finally they got over the hump in the playoffs and they're here and they added talent. They got a quarterback who, what I'm saying, say what you want about Carson Beck, but in the playoffs, he's been really good, man. Yeah, since '03. Yeah, it's been a long time. Um, so and then Indiana coming in, Kurt Cinetti, he's kind of trying to solidify himself as one of the best He's already one of the best coaches in college football, but really put that stamp on that, like, I'm the guy. You know what I'm saying? This is my era. This is the Kurt Cinetti era, and what I'm saying, ain't nobody gonna get me. I'm gonna be the new Nick Saban of this era type deal. You know what I'm saying? Now it's yet to be seen, but he has a chance to solidify and stamp himself as the top coach in college football right now. So and we all know that Indiana, they're coming in with a balanced offensive tack. You know what I'm saying? You got, of course, Fernando Mendoza, you got Hemby, you got the two wide receivers, Omar Cooper Jr. and Elijah Strait. So, this offense is very efficient. They're potent. They don't make too many mistakes. Their offensive line is one of the best offensive lines in the nation. They just a well-oiled machine out there, man. They don't, Kurt Cinetti, he got this team very disciplined, very structured. They just go out there and handle business, man. And they've been doing it the whole playoffs, just mud stomping all their opponents because they don't make mistakes, man. Not you know what I'm saying? They're just very disciplined, very efficient, especially on the offense. And then defense, you know what I'm saying? They're very opportunistic. They get after you. Their defensive line I think it's actually a very underrated defensive line. They get after you. They force turnovers. Bonds, the corner, he's really good. Yeah, man. We all know what Indiana's representing, man. They've come in and they show why they're the best team in the nation right now.
Nah, yeah, for sure. I think this is gonna be a fun matchup. We're so used to Bama's and Georgia's and LSU's. I think this is good. It's a breath of fresh air. We get Indiana with a quarterback who is been nationally recognized as one of the best players in the nation. The consensus #1 overall pick, the Heisman winner. This team is a dominant team. It's the only undefeated team left. So they got a little sense of aura with them. They seem like they're unstoppable. This team looks like they're a man amongst boys with the rest of college football. And then on the other side, you have Miami, a fun team, the U. The historical values of what they meant. We see it all on that sidelines with some of the greatest players we've ever seen in college football and the NFL, from, as you said, Ray Lewis to Willis McGahee to Clint Portis to, God rest his soul, Sean Taylor to, Michael Irvin to
Frank
Gore, Santana Moss, like, it goes on and on, you know what I'm saying? Like some of the least of the least, Patrick Willis, you know what I mean? Like some of the elites, man. So Jeremy Shockey, shout out to Jeremy Shockey too, man. He was nice too. Yeah, man.
Jimmy Graham.
yeah. It goes on and on and on. Like the historical value of what the U meant, you know what I mean? Especially back in the early 2000s and stuff like that, man. It was they had some of the greatest teams ever. And then the environment that it's in, you know what I mean? I've never seen a college football championship that actually has a home field advantage. Miami will have that. Now, again, will Miami show out? I hope they do. I think it will be a tremendous atmosphere if it is predominantly Miami fans. I do think Indiana fans will definitely travel. If it's 60-40 Miami, I think that would be reasonable. If it's anything like 50-50, I think I would be disappointed in Miami fans for not showing up. You know what I mean? Like this is the opportunity of a lifetime to see your team in your backyard. This is the stadium that they play in during the regular season. There's no reason why the Miami fans should outnumber Indiana fans. This is the reality of it. I would be shocked if it's anything like what we saw with Indiana and Oregon. Like I would be totally shocked. But at the end of the day, I'm truly excited to watch this game. I think this game, I know a lot of people in their mindset have Indiana being the dominant team. I think we can be surprised. We're not going to give our picks today. We'll give it on Monday before the game. But I'm truly excited to see this game and the atmosphere that it lays, and seeing two brand new teams compete for a national championship. We're going to get a national champion, whether it's Miami, who hasn't won a national championship in 20 plus years, or Indiana. You know what I mean? I don't know if this will be their first college football championship, but it's going to be something we haven't seen before. And I'm truly excited. And obviously, me, I get to see my future quarterback, and I want him to succeed and come out this very healthy. So, there's going to be a lot of invested Raider fans. Hell, it might even be silver and black in that stadium for all I know, with how excited Raider fans are for this young man to be leading our team for the foreseeable future. So.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think, like I said, we ain't giving our picks, but this game is very interesting because, the question is, can this defensive line affect this offensive line of Indiana? Can Ruben Bain come out here and solidify himself as is the top defensive end to give Mendoza problems, and can they force some turnovers to get, this offense? Can that speed affect this Indiana team, with Malachi Tony, with CJ Fletcher, some of those other receivers on this team, CJ Daniels, like, can those guys come out here and can they use that speed to, affect this team? Because they don't need it. They don't need it because, like I said, Indiana, they just don't make mistakes, man. They're just a well-oiled machine. They are a reflection of their coach. That's what they are. And Cincinnati just doesn't play, man. He just goes out there and just puts his hard hat on, makes his team do the same thing, and they go to work. Yeah. They just go to work, man. So it's going to be very interesting. Definitely a big chess match. And look, if Cristobal can pull something off, that's going to be huge for Cristobal, because that's going to put him up a tick higher and look at Cristobal a little differently. Like, okay, he went out there, and even if he in a loss, if he goes stride for stride with Cincinnati, people are going to look at Cristobal like, okay, Cristobal might be all right. You know what I'm saying? So
the only thing with Cristobal is we have seen him make idiotic calls that has lost his team wins. We saw it last year, so that's something to keep in mind. He's learned that. But I agree with you. I think Miami needs to come out fast if they want to have a shot shot. You know what I mean? I think if they have the opportunity to get the ball and try to score on them, because you gotta give this defense some kind of doubt that they're gonna be struggling. If you give them any kind of confidence, then it's lights out, because we all know what's gonna happen on. And then obviously we got to see how that, again, we have to see how that tremendous D line from the Miami Hurricanes reacts to that great offensive line of Indiana. I think that's going to be the matchup. If they can get any kind of pressure on Fernando Mendoza with this O-line, I think they got a shot. You know what I mean? If they can't, Mendoza's going to carve him up. We've seen him do that to some of the best defenses out there. So we'll see. I'm excited. I'm excited to make my pick on Monday.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man, let's do our BetUS Sure Fire Picks. Or matter of fact, now let's go to a quick commercial, and then we'll do our Bet Sure Fire Picks.
For sure.
Introduce yourself to Magnet, the ultimate sports drink. Are you ready to take your performance to the next level? Do you want a sports drink that eliminates the muscle cramps and fatigue when working out or training? Meet Magnet, the sports drink designed for athletes who refuse to settle for mediocrity. It's power-packed electrolytes and rehydrates and restores balance with their scientifically formulated blend with magnesium that fights fatigue and boosts endurance. It has natural ingredients made with real fruit extracts and no artificial colors or flavors, because your body deserves the best. It has delicious flavors like mixed fruit and watermelon that keep you revitalized and ready for action. It will boost your performance with essential vitamins and minerals. Magnet fuels your workouts, helping you crush your goals. Join the Magnet movement, whether you're training, competing, or simply staying active. Magnet is your go-to refreshment for peak performance. You can order it now on our direct link at drinkmagnet.com. Also, use promo code Cris and Mal to get $5 off your purchase. So don't wait. Again, that promo code is Cris and Mal to get $5 off your purchase. Get Magnet, push your limits, fuel your passion.
Alrighty, let's go ahead and do our BetUS Sure Fire Picks. All right, man. What you got?
So for tomorrow, I got the Lakers -4 with the Hornets. I just think I know my Lakers have been kind of hit or miss, but I think they should be able to handle the Hornets -4. I love the Thunder -4 with the Rockets. Rockets have been struggling. Thunder seem like they've gotten their groove back, gotten their little over the hump with San Antonio Spurs, dominated them. So I think the Thunder should dominate the Rockets. And then on Saturday, I love the Bills +1 over the Broncos. I just think that Josh Allen will find a way. The NFL will find a way for this Buffalo Bills team to make it to the AFC Championship game next week.
I got all NFL. I'm gonna go. I got San Francisco +7 with Seattle. You know how those division games go, man. They just are always closer than what people think there's going to be. So I'm gonna take the +7. I'm with you with Buffalo +1. If you can, you could try to tease it up to 3. You know what I'm saying? Get you a +3, get you a couple points. And I'm taking the under in the New England Houston game. I just think that the points are going to come at a premium in that game. We saw, even though Chargers offense couldn't get nothing going, the Chargers defense still held that New England offense in check. And I think it's an opportunity they can do the same thing. We saw CJ Stroud looked on Monday. So he was damn near trying to get Pittsburgh the game. So I think I'll take the under 41. And then I'll jump on the Rams 3.5. Even though if it was me, I would tease it down to 2.5. But you know what I'm saying, Rams -3.5. I'll take. If you go to any of our social media spots, you can see the link for the BetUS website. Go ahead and click on it. You'll sign up. Get 125% sign-up bonus plus 10% gambler's insurance. That's 3 risk-free bets of $100 up to $5,000. That means if on your first 3 deposits you bet $100 and you lose, you keep your money. So you can go there, sign up, win you some money, or you can keep your money on your first 3 deposits. Just go ahead and tell them Cris Style Mal sent you. And that does it for our BetUS Sure Fire Picks. All right, man. Let's do our AFC South Offseason Needs. We did the NFC on Monday, so we'll do the AFC today. So I'll start with the Houston Texans. Look, man, CJ Stroud, he's gonna have to figure out what he wants, take his game to the next level. I don't know what that entails. And look, we could be sitting here weeks from now talking about him in the Super Bowl. So, you know what I'm saying? Regardless, I still think that there's some things and nuances in this game that he needs to work on. I do think that he kind of rested on his laurels in his rookie season and started kind of feeling himself a little bit too much. And I think this offseason, he needs to look in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, he's the biggest liability on his team. Like, that defense won him that game against the Steelers. There should be no reason why that game shouldn't have been like 55-3. Like, Houston is clearly the better team than the Steelers. And he was surely the reason why he's still in that game. Like, it got a little scary in the beginning. Like, oh, Pittsburgh gonna pull this off? So there's something he's gonna have to look in the mirror next. He's gonna have to get better. I do think that they need to invest in his offensive line a little bit more. Get some more stout offensive linemen, or build on this offensive line. Maybe add another running back, because we don't know what's up with Joe Mixon. There's been a mystery all season with him. Like, it's been up and down. He's saying one thing, team saying another. They probably gonna. And I do like Woody Marks, but I don't think Woody Marks is an every down back. I think he's like more of a third down back. You know what I'm saying? We all Nick Chubb is getting older. He's had that leg injury. He's starting to look a little bit better down the stretch, but still, he's a little older. I still think that they need to invest in another running back to come into this room and bring some juice to it. Maybe they go after a Breece Hall, or maybe they get a Kenneth Walker, something like that. Tyler Algier type, you know what I'm saying? Bring him in and let him be the starting back, and let Woody Marks be the third down, catch out of the backfield type back. And just continue to build, put more youth on this defense. Why not? add a strength to a strength. You know what I'm saying? Get another pass rusher. Danielle Hunter's not getting any younger. He's a little bit longer in the tooth. He's still good, but you got to look for the future. Will Anderson is still, young, but you're gonna have to look at the future of Danielle Hunter getting older. So you're gonna need his replacement. So why not add another pass rusher to his defense, or even in the interior, add a defensive lineman in the interior that can get after the passer. You know what I'm saying? Make this defense a little stronger. You know what I'm saying? Or add to the backfield, safety. You know what I'm saying? You can add another corner. There's never enough corners. You know what I'm saying? So I just think they just need to add in certain areas. But it all starts with CJ Stroud. He's gotta take his game to the next level. As far as the Colts, they got to figure out the quarterback position because Daniel Jones, he's coming off an ACL tear. We don't know what he's going to look like when he comes back. Do they want to invest in money in him anymore? Or do they go after a Mac Jones? Do they go after a Kyler Murray? Do they go after a Malik Willis type? Or do they believe in a Ty Simpson maybe? Maybe they believe in a Carson Beck, depending on how he looks in this game, in the national championship. You never know. But they got to make some decisions at quarterback because I think the core of their offense is still good. Now, they might lose Alec Pierce to free agency because, he's probably going to want to go get paid. But they still got a nice nucleus with Josh Downs and Michael Pittman Jr. Tyler Warren is he's going to be a young, ascending tight end in this league. You got Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. You could always add to this defensive line. I still think that they need a viable every down pass rusher on this defensive line to build a threat. You got your corners, with Sauce and Kenneth Moore, Jalen Jones. They got a nice little nucleus back there. Caleb Bynum. He's another good safety that they picked up. So I think their defense as a whole is going to be good. It's going to be interesting. I haven't really heard Lou Anarumo's name as far as head coaches. I know they was talking about him being a possible head coaching candidate, but I don't know if he gets a head coaching job this offseason. But they definitely need to add to this defensive line to be more of a threat as a pass rushing team. So the Jacksonville Jaguars, just build on what you already got. I think you got a strong foundation on both ends. You got your offensive pieces with Jacoby Myers. You paid him. Brian Thomas Jr., he's coming into this next season probably trying to get paid, be one of the higher paid young ascending wide receivers in this league. Parker Washington, you found a trio, a wide receiver. You're good in that. Now you're going to have to if you lose Travis Etienne, you got Tootin now. Tootin could be your bell cow now. He could be your leading back. Maybe you add something in the draft or in free agency. But I think your offense is fine. I even like their tight end. They got Strange. I think he's actually a pretty good tight end too. Defensively, you're going to get Travis Hunter back. Now, I know the owner said that they still going to let Travis Hunter play both ways, but I think that I think that just tells me that I think they're going to start him at corner and have some packages for him on the offensive side. Put him in the slot, move him around, be a weapon, jet sweeps and things of that nature. Let him use his athleticism on offense, but you need to make him your number one corner on defense because he's just too much of a playmaker on the defensive side. So I think Jacksonville will be fine though. And then the Tennessee Titans. They got to put some more weapons. I do like some of the weapons that they have emerged on this offense for Tennessee Titans, but they got to build on this offensive line and they got to put a little bit more weapons. We'll see what happens with Tyjair Spears and Tony Pollard. They'll probably get another running back in the draft. Maybe they add a running back, throw big dollars at a Breece Hall. You never know. You know what I'm saying? And try to make life easier for Cam Ward. They also got to figure out the head coaching situation. I know Matt Nagy has been speaked up as the top candidate for that job. Maybe they bring in somebody else like a Kevin Stefanski as the head coach. We'll see on that too. But they got to build that O-line up to keep it, like Mark said, keep Cam alive. So, and make life easier for him. And then just keep adding to this defense. Jeffrey Simmons is still a beast. He's starting to move into being one of the best defensive interior defensive linemen now that Chris Jones is getting a little older. Jeffrey Simmons is starting to kind of ascend. He was first team All Pro this year at that spot, so he's starting to ascend as the top guy. But yeah, man, just build more playmakers on both sides of the football, man, and just be better than what you was this season. So
yeah, for sure. I'll start with the Tennessee Titans. I agree with you for the majority of what you said. Obviously, I think the two biggest keys for them, well, three biggest keys for them is number one, obviously they got to figure out the direction of the head coach and offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator and what the sense of direction you want this squad to look like for the next 4 to 5 years. The next thing after that is they got to solidify this O-line, man. You cannot have Cam Ward getting hit like that consistently. We see what he can do when he has time. Hell, we seen what he can do when he doesn't have time. Like this kid is going to be remarkable with the arm talent that he has. You know what I mean? So you just don't want this kid to get killed. You don't want this kid to lose any kind of confidence of what he's capable of doing, and get frustrated with the O-line because he doesn't have time. Like that's something you need to fix. I would love to see them get another weapon. To add to what they have. I agree with you. The running back situation, obviously, I would love to see them have an upgrade with that. I'm not mad with Tyjae Spears and Tony Pollard. Obviously, they're not every down backs, but they kind of get the job done. I think Tony Pollard kind of had a great second half to the year. I think
he had 1,000 yards, so yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Tyjae Spears, he's nothing to sleep at. So I don't think it's like their biggest concern. But if you can find an upgrade, whether it's like, all right, we can get a Breece Hall in this situation and maybe trade one of those guys and have him be the bell cow and just kind of, keep one or the other to, kind of, keep the energy with him or whatever the case may be. They
like I don't mean to cut you off. I can see them like throwing money at Rashad White or a Tyler Algier. Like, hey, man,
I think they need like a goal line back. That's what I feel like they need. Like I think like the in between the 20s. I think they already have those guys with Tyjae Spears and Tony Pollard. I think they need more so of a guy who can from the 5 on down, punch it in, you know what I mean? So I agree with you. I think Rashad White would be a nice fit, you know what I mean? So I could see that. Next up, the Indianapolis Colts. Look, man, obviously, the big news with them is, they're not going to have Daniel Jones at all next year. So they got to figure out what they want to do. Could this be a Mac Jones situation? Could this be a Colin Murray situation? Or do they allow Anthony Richardson to play ball? Now, obviously, this is going to be the biggest offseason for Anthony Richardson. Like he has an opportunity to win this job, but he's going to have to show that he wants it. He's going to have to show that he is capable of taking control of this job because they're not giving him no more chances. You know what I mean? If he can't show any kind of improvement, if he can't show the willingness to be better and actually put the effort and the time and show them that, then I think he'll be on the first train smoking out of there, and I think they'll try to find a trade partner for him. But this is an opportunity for him. Again, you already have great solid pieces on that offensive side. Whether they do lose Alec Pierce, I agree with you. I think Joshua Downs is amazing. Michael Pittman, he didn't have the best year, but I think he'll have a bounce back year. And then, Tyler Warren, man, he's elite. Like I know he started off the year great, but I think with Daniel Jones' injury, we didn't get to see too much of him in the second half of the year, but we all know what he's capable of. And I really like this defense and what they have. You know what I mean? Obviously, Sauce Gardner, he was dealing with some injuries this year. So, I know they traded 2 first-round picks, and that is pretty steep for a cornerback. But then again, we always say, elite cornerbacks like him are very hard to find. So if you're a big believer in him, hey, I'm not mad at it, especially if you believe you have the team that's capable of winning the championship. And beginning of part of the year, they look like they were one of the better teams when they had Daniel Jones. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with them. The Houston Texans, look, man, I think next year, I know the Texans have made it this far into the playoffs. Hell, they can even potentially make it to the AFC Championship game, but it's not going to be because of CJ Stroud. It's going to be because of this defense. I think next year is going to be huge for CJ Stroud to see growth because, look, I said it before and I'll say it again. There's a lot of quarterbacks coming out in next year's draft that could easily replace some of these guys who do not show the progress that these teams want to see. And I'm sure that if they don't like it, I'm sure they can find some trade partners for CJ Stroud. I'm sure they can find a head coach that be like, I can get the best out of him, whether that's a Minnesota Vikings, whether that's, some other team, Arizona Cardinals, what, maybe the Carolina Panthers, if they don't like what Bryce Young is doing. Like, I just think that they could find a trade partners, especially if they really like somebody that's in the draft and things don't go their way. Let's say like next year, like, you know what I mean? So I think it's going to be a big year for CJ Stroud. Obviously the running game, I don't know what's going on with Joe Mixon. But they're going to have to figure that out. Hopefully Tank Dell will be able to play next year. If you can add Tank Dell and he can even be, 80% of what he was, I think that's a huge plus, especially with them already having Higgins, and we know what Nico Collins is with. But this defense ain't going anywhere. This defense is still going to be one of the elite defenses going into next year and the foreseeable future. And I'm happy for D'Amico Ryans, because I know there was kind of some rumors about maybe him losing his job, but I think he'll be fine, especially with how elite this defense is. I think it's going to be hard for the McNairs to fire him. So, and then with the Jacksonville Jaguars, like, look, they have a solid they have a solid base with what they have. I just think are we going to get Trevor Lawrence that we've seen this year? Is he going to report next year? You know what I mean? That's really honestly what it comes down to with this team, because they have all the pieces for it. Obviously, you like to see them add maybe some additional pieces to that defensive side. Offensive, they're fine. But again, you're going to get Travis Hunter back, playing on both sides. Like, look, as long I don't have a problem with it, as long as it's. I would rather see him play more snaps on that defensive side and then maybe have some specialty plays for him on that offensive side. Maybe they can do some situations like that. Then I'm not mad at that statement. But if it's going to be kind of like what we saw, where it's just like 1 week he's playing offense, 1 week he's playing defense, I'm not really a fan of that. I just think that's too much in a league like this. And we already seen him go down with a knee injury. It's just not beneficial for him for the long term and long run for himself. Like, I admire him for wanting to do that, but at the end of the day, they got to protect their investment, and this kid is going to be amazing. He's going to be an elite cornerback. We all know he's an elite cornerback. He has a lot to work on, especially in the receivers as far as like route running and stuff like that. But if they do just, I said, they just do a situation where he's predominantly on the defensive side, but occasionally we can put some packages him on the offensive side, then I'm cool with that. But besides that, man, I'm loving with what Jacksonville has going forward. But it really just all comes down to Trevor Lawrence, and if he can keep progressing into, what we've seen this year and continuing going into the next year. If he can't, then he may be another quarterback that may be seeing a new home because of the style of quarterbacks that are coming out in next year's draft.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. Got the NFC West, AFC West next week.
Yep.
All right, y'all. It's time for Mal's Random News. It is now time for Mal's Random News.
Yeah, man, my favorite, segment of the week, Chris's favorite segment of the week, y'all's favorite segment of the week, man. We love to hear Chris's mind and some topics that don't get to make the cut. So, sir, are you ready for this week's random news?
Let's get it.
All right, man. First up, Queen's Flip from the Joe Budden podcast. He announced that he's doing a Flip the Trip live stream, visiting 48 states in 7 weeks in the 1955 Oldsmobile. Gives a little bit of what Speed has been doing with his current streams. He did his American tour, he did his Europe tour. He's currently in Africa. I think that African one has been. If you haven't seen some clips, man, that one's been pretty fire to see. What's your thoughts with this, man? Are you intrigued with Queen's Flip's trip across the country, especially with everything that's been going on in America, or are you not?
I mean, it sounds interesting. I mean, Flip is a big personality, so he's gonna make it, big and extravagant. He's gonna be doing some crazy stuff probably in these states. So it's interesting. You know what I'm saying? I'll probably check out some stuff. See what he's talking about.
Nah, for sure. Queen Slip is always an entertaining guy. So I'm gonna be very intrigued to see how he hits in some of them white neighborhoods that may not be too fond of him there, but we'll see what's up. Especially when he gets to the West Coast. Maybe he might even stop in Vegas or something like that. Next up, HBO Max has renewed its deal to bring future A24 films to the streaming service. The next A24 film that will be added to the HBO Max under the renewed deal is Marty Supreme. What's your thoughts with this? Are you a big fan of A24 movies and with what they have going on with HBO Max?
Don't they usually do horror films?
Yeah, they still do horror films. Yeah, they do a little bit of everything.
The only thing I know for is the horror genre, and a lot of the horror films they do are pretty good. So
pretty good. No, they're really good.
Yeah. I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think a lot of their horror films come to HBO Max anyway, don't they?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they had the deal. They just renewed it. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Don't they do the Conjurings?
Do they do the Conjurings? I don't know if they do the Conjurings. If they do the Conjurings. I think they've done like what's that one movie called?
Don't they do like Smile and all that?
Yeah, they do like Smile. They do like they've done some really good movies, man. I'm a fan of A24 Studios. I like the way they shoot things. Yeah. Next up, your boy Gervonta Davis. Arrest warrant was issued following an alleged domestic violence incident that took place in October. Investigators plan to charge him with battery, false imprisonment, and kidnapping. What's your overall thoughts with this? I know he's already made the news with this before, but do you think this is the end of Gervonta Davis's boxing career? Can you see him make a comeback?
I'll never say it's the ending because, in boxing, it is, they frown upon it, but if, he gets another big fight and beats somebody, I'll be forgiven. So I'll never say it's the end, but if he doesn't fight in the next year or so, then it's over.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. We have to see what happens with this situation. Obviously, he could get sentenced for a couple years, and if that's the case, I low-key think his career is up. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I just think the stomach for him is kind of gone. And then I just think it's not like, I think, especially with the combination of the way he went about the Jake Paul fight and ran away from the Roach fight, I think you alienated boxing fans who had interest in you. And then on top of that, you're not really like you're hard to touch at this point. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I low-key think if he gets sentenced, especially if he doesn't fight anytime this year, I think his career will never be the same. Like we could see him come back and fight, but I just think the level of excitement will be gone. Next up, man, A$AP Rocky, man, his album that's been highly anticipated. Rocky hasn't dropped anything in some years now. He finally will drop his Don't Be Dumb album this Friday. What's your thoughts, man? He released some, I forgot what song it's called, like Punk Rocky or something like that released and all that. I don't know if you listened to that, but what's your thoughts, man? Are you excited to hear a new Rocky album? And did you listen to his new single? And did you like it?
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I was never a big Rocky guy.
No, no.
I like A$AP Ferg better.
Okay.
I was more of a Ferg guy. I'm not really an A$AP Rocky guy.
I love.
He just didn't. He didn't do it for me. It is what it is.
I fuck with A$AP Rocky though. I liked him a lot. I did not like his Punk Rocky song. I hated that shit. That shit's terrible. And I've seen people on the internet talking about how much they loved it. And you're kidding yourself at this point. But I'm excited to see what the rest of it is. Another music news. Our boy J. Cole, man, he announced his Fall Off album. Reportedly is a double album. Supposed to be released on week of Super Bowl, February 6th. It will be dropping. He dropped some some visuals. Even one of the songs he dropped. What's your level of excitement for that? Did you listen to the song that he dropped? And what's your overall thoughts with we finally getting the J. Cole album?
Yeah, I listened to the song. It's dope, man. I like how he's going and reversing the song of his success to him pretty much going back in the womb and not existing anymore and saying that's how you feel right now. I don't exist. So it's how J. Cole does these rollouts, man. He's going to be a heavy promotion probably in the next few weeks. it's going to be more songs dropping and, just getting us anticipating for this album. I'm interested to see how he comes with this album. What he talks about. Is he going to, talk about his, since the whole situation with Drake and Kendrick and, his mindset and that, what I'm saying? And, I'm sure he's going to talk about other stuff too. But just, overall, just everything with him, what's going on with him, because we haven't heard from him since, we've heard some songs here and there from him. I like that Cloud songs that he dropped. You know what I'm saying? He was spitting in that, but we all know what J. Cole represents. Regardless of what happened, we all know J. Cole is still one of the better elite rappers of all time. So we're not going to do that. I'm always going to anticipate and be ready for a J. Cole album.
And what do you make of academics saying that J. Cole shouldn't diss anybody? If he does diss anybody, it would kind of like kill the vibe of the album.
I'm not listening to none of DJ Academics got to say. I can go sit down somewhere. Like, who cares? Like, if he do diss somebody, better come with it. Don't half-ass at it.
I feel it. I'm excited for the album, though. I can't wait to hear it. Next up, man, Michael Irvin announced that he has a new show on Netflix. It's called The White House with Michael Irvin, a new original sports video podcast that is coming to Netflix in the U.S. on January 19th. It will tackle current sports news, game analysis, and commentary with 2 episodes a week, featuring a rotating roster of co-hosts, including former NFL All-Pro wide receiver Brandon Marshall, who will also produce the show. What do you think about this, man? What do you think about Michael Irvin's new endeavors going into Netflix?
Man, Michael Irvin on TV is always good business, man. He's always going to bring the energy. He's going to say some wild stuff. He's going to talk about his Cowboys, Jerry Jones and whatever. But hey, man, shout out to him. He getting that bag. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna say some way. It's gonna be entertaining for sure.
Nah, yeah, for sure. Next up, man, Ron Coogler, man, he shares an update on his X-Files reboot. It will have a Monster of the Week episodes alongside an overarching conspiracy. He got advice from Vince Gilligan on approaching the TV. It's his next project. Black Panther 3 is after that. He's also enjoying the pressure from fans. There are a lot of really smart people that I don't want to let down. He's also, quote, he's a big fan of Gillian Anderson and David Duchovny. Won't comment on if they're returning at all, man. What's your level of excitement for him actually, putting his spin on the X-Files?
I'm interested to see because, he did a great job with Sinners. He knows what he's doing with the horror genre. So we'll see how he does this more of a sci-fi, horror type deal. See what he does with that, man, the visuals and everything of that nature. So I'm interested. It's more of a series than a movie. So I'm very interested to see what he does with it.
Nah, for sure, man. Ron Coogler hasn't missed, man. He's been hitting stuff out of the ballpark, man. So I'm truly excited to see. Next up, man, KG, man. He made some comments about LeBron James potentially ruining the All-Star game. I'm gonna play this little snippet and want to hear your thoughts, man.
He fucked the whole tradition up. When Cole slapped the floor, told that nigga, let's go one-on-one, and he passed it, he fucked up the whole tradition. Damn. Don't nobody want to hear that shit. I'm one of them gatekeepers. I can say this. Everybody went in it. Bro, he slapped floor on your ass. You supposed to nail his ass with a 3. Boom. Bitch ass nigga, what's up? Y'all supposed to go right there. Right. None of that motion.
Yeah, I love it, man.
Man, that's what mom was like, nah, see, you don't want this nigga. Right, talking crazy. Yeah, right. I hate to get into these. That's what really happens. Yeah, and ever since then, we've been off the trajectory. We went this way. LeBron ain't getting this.
So, what's your thoughts with what KG said? Do you agree or disagree that LeBron ruined the trajectory of the All-Star game?
I've always said that LeBron ruined the dunk contest. I've always said that. Like, we've all known that the stars have always participated in the dunk contest, and when he didn't do it, it was just like, well, hell, if LeBron ain't doing that shit, I ain't gotta do it. So I don't know if that was an instance of he ruined the All-Star game. I don't know about that one. Like, I've never looked at that point and was like, damn. Now it was I do remember that moment because I do remember Kobe and Carmelo and them looking at him like, why you ain't shoot it? Why you ain't try to do something? Like, I do remember that, but I don't know if it ruined the tradition of the All-Star game. I think it was other factors in that, but I love KG, man. Yeah, KG's always gonna, and he know how he feels about LeBron James.
Nah, yeah, I agree with KG. I think LeBron was one of the main cogs of why people view the All-Star game the way it does, man.
Yeah.
It started with, as you said, it started with the dunk contest. We've had all the all-time greats who've been on his level, from the Kobe Bryants to the Michael Jordans to the Vince Carters to Tracy McGrady's, who all participated, man. It was an honor, you know what I mean, to participate in the dunk contest. And then he didn't want to do it because he was scared to lose. Then you had the incident, as KG eloquently stated, that it's moments in the All-Star game where it's time to have fun, but sometimes it's like, when's the opportunity? How many opportunities are we going to get to see Kobe and LeBron go one-on-one in a matchup? Are you going to get to see Tim Duncan and KG, or AI and Steve Nash, or whoever the case may be? And that's what this All-Star game, that's what the All-Star game was for, to the matchups that we normally aren't blessed to see, during points of the regular season. We could see it right here in the All-Star game. And it's a fun moment, but at the same time, it still can be competitive without, trying to injure or hurt anybody. You know what I mean? And he ran away from that moment. And, even Kobe kind of said, it's just like, come on, man, what are we doing, man? Like, we're supposed to have fun, man. This is supposed to be a competitive environment. It's all love at the end of the day, but we're here to compete. You know what I mean? I don't care if it's an All-Star game or not, man. I'm trying to win this basketball game. So I don't know, man. I agree with KG. I'm not saying LeBron is the whole end all be all, but LeBron was the leader of this league, man. People follow the leader. So next up, man, Hot 97, man. They announced their new host that's going to be taking over Ebro and all those guys, and Lauren Stiles and Rosenberg's time slot. Merrill is the new host, man. He was announced earlier this week. I think he had his first episode on Tuesday. What's your thoughts with Merrill getting the nod to be the new host of Hot 97's morning show?
I like it. I think Merrill represents New York through and through, and I think that's what they was looking for. I think Ebro, man, I just think he rubs people to the wrong way because his ego is just so out of this world. And he's not even a New York dude. He's from the West Coast. So it's just like even more so. And it's just like, a lot of people blame Merrill for not Merrill, but blame Ebro for ruining New York radio, hip hop radio. And being one of the program directors that ruined the whole hip hop genre when it comes to New York radio. Is not even the same anymore. It's just ruining radio, period. You know what I'm saying? As far as being a program director. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do it with Mero. Is he going to expand the horizons of the radio? Is he going to play a little bit more expanded, more artists to be able to be played on the radio, more New York rappers to get heard, or rappers period to get heard? Are you going to hear Benny the Butcher and Westside Gun, the whole Griselda, more of that type of music on there? You're going to hear, a healthy balance of both. You know what I'm saying? Your pop records, your hip hop stuff, Drake's, the Kendricks, all that. But are you going to hear some more New York based type rappers that spit like hip hop type stuff? So you're gonna hear a little bit more of that. But I like Merrill. I think Merrill's funny. I used to watch Desus and Merrill back in the day. So I've always been a fan of Merrill.
No, I'm a big fan of Merrill. I was a big fan of Desus and Merrill, but it's also sad because this should be Desus and Merrill. It should be both of them. If it was Desus and Merrill, come on, man. This will be 100. This will be 100 times better. And I think Merrill's gonna do a great job, man. But that when Desus and Merrill broke up, man, that was tough sad for me, man. That was sad, man. That was a bro relationship that I did not ever want to see end, man, because they were one of a kind, man, with what they had going on, man. They had
when they went in on DJ Academics, man.
Oh
that was hilarious.
They were the funniest cats. They were the funniest cats out, man. They really were, man. And it's sad. Hopefully one day their relationship can heal and they can get back to being brothers and doing stuff together. Maybe not to the capacity that they were doing it before, but at least something. I think people who were true fans of theirs, hopefully one day we can get that back. And hopefully one day, man. Next up, Rachel Demita. She made some comments about the glazing in women's basketball. I want you to hear this, and I'm gonna read some more, and then we'll get more into the topic.
Great. They're great. We have to get to the point in women's basketball media where we're not just literally glazing every player. Like, we can't just sit up there and talk about basketball and say, oh, they're great. They're great. They're great. So many people have been coming on Candace Parker for her comments about Paige Becker, which, again, her comments about Paige Becker's were based around basketball. She was talking about her performance on the court. We need to be able to be realistic and honest about the reporting, because you do more harm than good when you're trying to constantly spin a narrative. Oh, Unrivaled is this super successfully. It's not yet. Maybe it will get there. Maybe it won't. Maybe it is successful in a sense that they've created an off-season place for players to train, to get in shape, to be in the United States, to improve on their game. But when it comes to getting butts in seats and watching it, it's not successful compared to the WNBA.
So with those comments, reports have came out that Unrivaled's viewership has not been doing the numbers that it was expecting to do. And then obviously some other fans have commented on the WNBA. I'm going to read this. I saw this on Twitter the other day. The WNBPA has truly fumbled the bag. And here's an example of what I mean. Last year, I was able to go to a Fever home game in Indiana. I bought the tickets to the game as soon as they dropped in December 2024. In December of 24, I already knew what I was doing on July 11th in 2025. I was going to be in Gainbridge Fieldhouse attending a WNBA game between the Atlanta Dream and the Indiana Fever. I planned flights and my hotel months in advance. I saved money to spend at the Fever merch store. And I'm sure that I was not the only person that made plans exactly like this for a game in Indiana or some other city. But it's January 2026 now, and there is no CBA. And because there's no CBA, there's no schedule. And because there's no schedule, there are no tickets. There's only the WNBPAs releasing extremely unprofessional statements. What a shame. What's your thoughts, man, with what Rachel Demita said about the glazing the players, Unrivaled, and its success, and just the overall feeling about the potential strike that potentially could, derail some of the momentum that the WNBA has been going.
Well, the lady talking about the glazing of players, I mean, of course. I mean, that's in any sport. You're going to have your great players, you're going to have your good players, you're going to have your mediocre, your players that are not that good. We've talked about players that we don't particularly think they're very good in the WNBA. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I get her on that. Not every player is great. Not every player is generational. That's in every sport. As far as Unrivaled goes, I'm going to be real with you, Mo. You know what took Unrivaled over the top last year? It was the one-on-ones.
Yeah, it was.
That's what took over.
One-on-one tournament. Yeah, the one-on-one tournament.
It wasn't the 3-on-3 joints or how many players they play in those games, but it was the one-on-one joints when we saw that. That's what made people be like, oh, it's Unrivaled stuff. Maybe the because we was even talking about, oh, the NBA should do this in the All-Star game. One-on-one tournament. Like, we started talking like that. So I just think that's what took it over the top. You know what I'm saying? And that's what people were trying to view. But at the end of the day, I do think that what hurt Unrivaled this year is the CBA stuff. I think that if the CBA was in place, and look, I'm not faulting the women in their union. They're trying to get what they're trying to get. So I can't fault them on that. But I do think if it was one in place, I think that would have helped Unrivaled to get ready for the next season. I think that because of this dark cloud is hovering over the WNBA right now, I think it is hurting Unrivaled right now. Because people are just like, man, y'all ain't even got a real season ready yet. Y'all ain't even set up right. You know what I'm saying? Like, this league ain't gonna mean nothing to me. Like, whatever. I want to see the real league because people want to see the real thing. So I think if they had a CBA in place, if they had all their ducks in a row at this time and they had figured something out, I think Unrivaled would have been a lot bigger. The viewership would have been bigger because people would have been excited. Okay, I get to see such and such play, Jackie Young play on this team. I get, you know what I'm saying? I'm excited for next year for the Aces, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think if something was in place for the WNBA, I think Unrivaled would feed off of that.
No, yeah, I just think right now the WNBA is in a tough spot because you're heading into coming off probably one of your most successful basketball years, and you're going into a climate where this upcoming year, summer's going to be busy, summer's going to be packed, and you cannot lose any momentum that you have because you're going to be competing with the World Cup. That is the reality of the situation. And I'm sorry, the World Cup is bigger than the WNBA. And it's going to be a point of out of sight, out of mind. Like, you're still establishing the league. Like, yeah, there is excitement for this league, but at the same time, it's still grown. It's still in a sense of being able to establish consistency with what it's supposed to be. And I think the WNBA is a great league. I think there's a lot of great talented women who've been taking a part of this league and growing it, from the Asia Wilsons, who I think is the all-time, she's the queen of basketball right now, to the Caitlin Clarks, to the Kelsey Mitchells, to, you know, all those women who made big impacts in this league. But at the end of the day,
what up, Chuck?
This league cannot. They got to be very, very mindful. I want them to get what they deserve, but at the same time, they got to be very smart about that. They cannot strike. They cannot lose the season. If they lose the season, you pretty much lost any kind of momentum you've had for the last 5 to 10 years. I'm being honest with you. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you're going to go back to square one. And you don't want to alienate your fans. You don't want to alienate the progress. You don't want to alienate the NBA. Like, it's a tricky situation, and I'm not trying to be the guy that's going to be like, you know, tell these women to not fight for what they believe in, but at the same time, like, you got to kind of pick your battles. You know what I mean? So it's going to be very interesting. You know what I mean? I know there's been rumors that, you know, I think even Breonna Stewart said they're still going to negotiate in good faith, and hopefully they can get a deal done, because I would love for them to have a season. I want to see my Aces compete and protect their championship run that they had. And I would love to see, because we haven't even got our free agency yet. We haven't got the schedule yet. I want to see all that. I'm excited for this league. I want to see the growth of this league. I think WNBA could be a very prominent thing. But if we ain't going to get that, you know where we're going to get our fix from? Women's college basketball. And women's college basketball is in a great spot. You know what I mean? We're going to get Juju. We're going to get Juju back next year. USC looks really good. UConn looks really good. Duke looks really good. LSU looks really good. South Carolina looks really good. Like, there's UCLA. You know what I mean? Like,
there's some squads. Texas.
Texas. Like, the list goes on and on. There's great quality
Notre Dame.
Basketball. Notre Dame. Like, TCU, like there's a lot of teams out there. Alabama,
and the girls are getting better and
they're getting better and better, man. And the league is getting deeper. So like we can just get our fix through that. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? No offense. Like I want to see Paige, I want to see Asia, but Unrivaled, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Unrivaled will never match the success of the WNBA, because if you don't have a city repping in front on that front jersey, no one's going to care as much. Like, if individually, I agree with Chris. Unrivaled was popping when it was the one-on-one stuff. The 3-on-3 stuff, it's like, all right, cuz it's like, this is like the big three for women. And like, big three is cool, but like, you know, it's not competing with the NBA. It's just not doing that. You know what I mean? I don't care who is in that league. You could put LeBron James in that league when he retires. It's still not going to be bigger than NBA. It's just not, because you don't have no city affiliation to go along with a lot of those stuff. You know what I mean? So I don't know. We'll see what's up. I got a couple more, man. We can get off. We can get off this. I think I lost my goddamn spot. My bad. One second. A new class action lawsuit filed last Thursday accuses WWE and ESPN of deceptive marketing practices with the move of PLEs to ESPN direct-to-consumer streaming service. The complaint takes issue with how some fans who already get ESPN channels through cable or other providers were still required to pay an additional monthly fee to watch WWE events. The plaintiffs allege this contradicts marketing communications from both WWE and ESPN, which they claim suggested all existing ESPN subscribers would have access to PLEs. If you're not used with PLEs, obviously those are like, the pay-per-views that they would have, SummerSlams, WrestleManias, and stuff like that. Chris, you are a WWE guy. I'm sure you're very familiar with they did with ESPN. What are your thoughts with this lawsuit?
I'm not surprised because a lot of people are confused.
Yeah.
When they first switched over and it was like, oh man, I gotta pay for another subscription. I gotta get this.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see how people was confused by it. It was just like you had us thinking like, oh, okay, well, we got the membership, we good, you know what I'm saying? We get all the PLEs, pay a little $9.99, that's fine. But nah, you gotta pay a little bit more to get the PLEs. And I do think that was a little bit deceptive, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not surprised. I hope whoever filed this class action suit, hope everybody get their money.
Nah, yeah, for sure. Yo, Charles, what up, man? I saw the message. Next up, man, Blade is rumored to be canceled at Marvel Studios. Marvel looks like it will be pivoting to a Midnight Suns movie. What's your thoughts with cancellation?
I told y'all. How hard is it to have a dude fight other vampires? How hard is it to make that movie? I keep saying, give the movie to Ryan Coogler. Just give it to him.
Yeah.
Pay him whatever he wants and let him handle this movie. And I guarantee you he'll do it justice.
Mm-hmm.
This is ridiculous. That y'all couldn't figure out something. You couldn't figure out a movie script for Blade? You got plenty of templates to make up a movie.
Yeah.
What are we doing, man? Y'all can make up Doomsday and you can do Thanos and you can do all these other movies, Deadpool and Spider-Mans and all that. But you can't figure out Blade? Always the brothers. Always the brothers. Stan Lee is rolling over in his grave right now. Because if y'all don't know, Blade is the reason why Marvel was out of bankruptcy. That is a fact. He said it himself. If it wasn't for Blade, Marvel would have never made
it. It's sad, man. Hopefully, obviously, it's canceled. Hopefully they revisit it in the future, and hopefully maybe they can get something going. But it's sad, man. I was really looking forward to that Blade movie. So
yeah.
All right, man. That's it, man, for this week's edition of Random News.
For sure. All right, man. Let's talk about the divisional playoff. Do our picks. Where's the cue the music? All right, man, let's kick it off. Saturday, we got the Buffalo Bills traveling to the Denver Broncos. The bye week, so they've been chilling. Look, man, Broncos, they didn't look good to me going into the playoffs. They barely beat the Chiefs when the Chiefs had their third-string quarterback in there. They got smacked by Jacksonville, and then they barely beat a Chargers team that didn't have Justin Herbert and none of their starters. They are not. If you think that the Broncos look good going to the playoffs, you're fooling yourself. The defense is good. It is. But This offense I have no faith in. I'm sorry. I don't have no faith in Bo Nix. It looks like everything looks hard for them to score. They really can't get no rhythm going. I'm going Buffalo, man. I got Buffalo winning. I think it's gonna be close, but I got them winning 24-17.
No, I agree. I'm not a fan of what I saw with the Broncos. Obviously, this defense can perform. This defense can win this game. But I just feel like Josh Allen's kind of destined right now with everything that's been laid before him, as far as like, he don't have to go through Mahomes. He don't have to go through Lamar Jackson. He don't have to go through Joe Burrow. He's the best quarterback left in the AFC. Obviously, I think it'll be a tough matchup. I'm not going to sit there and say the Buffalo Bills are going to go in there and just dominate. This defense is going to compete. I'm sure Bo Nix will start off slow, and the second half, this offense can, put some numbers on the board. Like, the Bills defense ain't that great. Obviously, I think they've been performing a little bit better, but I'm going to go with Buffalo, man. I think the Buffalo Bills will win this game. I'm going to go with like a 27-23 game.
For sure, Mark. Then you got the San Francisco 49ers traveling to Seattle. 49ers coming off a good win over the Eagles. And of course, Seahawks, they had the bye week. They're going to be in Seattle. 12s are going to be loud. You know how hard it is to play up in Seattle. The big question will be, can Sam Darnold finally get over that hump? Can he erase some of the taintedness that he had from last year's loss for the Vikings? I think it was a big win for him to have at the last game of the season to get that number one pick over the 49ers. But it is hard to beat a team 3 times in a year. I'm gonna go with Seattle because they're at home, and I do think that some of the injuries to this team finally catches up to them. Look, I know that the 49ers are resilient. I do think it's going to be a close game. I'm not saying that Seattle's going to blow them out whatsoever. I think it's going to be very close. But I'm going to go with Seattle. I'm going to roll with a score of, I'm going to go 27-24.
I'm going with the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to be with Mark, man. I just think we're going to get a big Christian McCaffrey game. I think Brock Purdy has showed us a lot. I get to the point where I trust Purdy more than I trust Sam Darnold. I still got to see it from Sam Darnold. I know he's played a lot better towards the end of the season, but when it comes to these elimination games, I still got to see it. I still got to see it to believe it. I think this defense can be really good, but San Francisco has been there. And obviously, this is McDonald's first head coaching playoff game. You're going up against Kyle Shanahan, who's been there and done that. He's been in so many of these games. They're going to be ready. Obviously, it sucks that, prayers up to George Kittle again for the Achilles injury, but I do like Tungus. I think he's a really solid tight end. Juwan Jennings has been performing pretty well. I'm not sure if Ricky Purcell is playing. I got to double check on that, but if he is, that's just another addition to this offense. And I think just the level of excitement that, people have seen with Fred Warner. I don't think he's going to play this game, but I think the motivation to, get him back for the NFC Championship game and the potential for them making the Super Bowl, I think it's high. And I get it. Seattle, them 12s, man, that place is going to be rumbling. That place is going to be excited. That place is going to be loud, especially for this divisional game. But I'm going to go with San Francisco, man. I just trust this team, and they've shown me a lot. They showed me a lot going into Philadelphia. And low-key, they dominated their game for the most part, man. They were the better team. And I'm going to go with San Francisco. I think I'm going to go, let's go 21-18.
Sure. Then Sunday, you got the Texans rolling into New England to face the Patriots. Both teams kind of struggled offensively against the teams that they played. But defensively, they had great showings. This comes down to what quarterback do you trust more? Do you trust C.J. Stroud? Do you trust Drake May? And right now, at this point, I trust Drake May, especially at home. I just don't trust C.J. Stroud to get it done. I think his defense is going to keep him in the game like they always been, but I just think Drake May is going to be the equalizer to make more plays than C.J. Stroud. I think that New England crowd is going to be rocking to get to that AFC Championship game. And I got the Patriots winning, man. I'm going to go with a score of, 24-14.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. I think the Patriots are going to win this game. I think this Texas defense can win this game alone. But look, man, C.J. Stroud, I was I was highly disappointed in what I saw from him. Like some of the turnovers he did was just, I'm like, bro, are you trying to lose this game, or do you have money against,
Check his FanDuel account.
Man, like it's crazy. He looked. It was insane, bro. But I just think, in all likelihood, the Patriots have been the better team all year. Drake May has been the best quarterback on the AFC side, obviously with Josh Allen and stuff like that. But I love Trevion Henderson. I like Ramondre Stevenson and what they did. Stephon Diggs, he's been performing really well. Matt Collins and all those guys, they've been performing really well. This defense is really good. It's very young. I'm not saying it's better than the Texans defense, but they have the potential to be there one day. I'm going to go with Patriots. I think they win a score of 17-7.
And then you got the afternoon game. You got the Rams facing the Bears. The Rams been a little disappointing, especially defensively. Their defensive line hasn't really been getting home lately. Jared Verse, Fisk, and them, they haven't been as dominant as we've seen them to be. And then that back end has been getting exposed because of that. And that's how the Panthers were being able to march up and down the field. And we know Chicago has way more weapons than what the Panthers have. They're going to have to deal with Colston Loveland. They're going to have to deal with Roma Dunze, Luther Burden, and DJ Moore, with Swift and one guy in the backfield. So, look, man, I know the Bears, man, the only thing that scares me about the Bears, man, is that they start so slow. And I think that if you do that with the Rams, you're going to get your head beat in. I just personally think that. And I'm still going to trust Matthew Stafford in this instance over Caleb Williams. I got to see it. If they don't start early, Chicago is going to be down again. I'm going to go with the Rams. I know the weather's probably going to play a factor in this game, but I'm going to go with the Rams. I'm going to go 28-24.
I'm going Chicago Bears, man. I love the home field advantage that they're going to get. And then again, it'll be different if the Rams are playing like earlier in the year Rams, but this defense has not performed really well. I think Caleb Williams has made some excellent throws. This offense has looked really good. DeAndre Swift and Mungwa, they've been able to run the ball down people's throats. DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Luther Burden, they've all looked really good. Colston Loveland looks like he might be the best tight end left in these playoffs. And I get it. The Bears defense performed very, very well in that second half. I think with that being their first playoff game at home, I'm sure it was a lot of pressure on Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson and all that stuff like that. For them to be able to come back in that fashion and win that game, I think says a lot. And the Rams, look, I know they're a very dangerous team, but I don't know, man. This just seems like we're going to get I feel like we're going to get that Bears 49ers rematch, that great game we saw at the end of the year. I think we get that rematch, and I got the Bears winning. I'm going to go, let's go 27-24 Bears.
For sure. All right, man. Done before 11, dog.
Hallelujah. My neck and my back. My neck and my back. It's hurting like a motherfucker.
Did you watch that Drewski skit?
I did, man. I thought that shit was fucking hilarious, bro. I think Drewski needs to get his own Dave Chappelle skit show. You know what I mean? I think he deserves that. Put it on HBO though, so it could be more uncut. But nah, man, I don't know where he getting all the money for this shit though. But that shit was hilarious with him flying in the air with the pastor and stuff like that. You know what I mean? That's real. I've seen some pastors who've been kind of pissed off by it. You know what I mean? With these mega churches and stuff like that. But it's the reality of it. It's the realness of it. You know what I mean? And hey, it is what it is. But shout out to Drewski though.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, I grew up in the church, man, and look. Do some of these mega churches get outlandish and go too far with it? Yeah, they do. And I think he was talking about a particular pastor when he did, because he had the same suit jacket as him. But do I think? I mean, there are some good pastors out there. There are some good churches. Sure. There's some good churches. But no, the outrage. I think he was just targeting a certain amount, and there are some bad, money-hungry pastors out here, man, and that's why I think he was highlighting. So the outrage of over all that is stupid to me. Relax.
I think you gotta learn to be able to laugh at yourself sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is what it is, man. All right, man. Let's go ahead and land this thing. If you want to donate to the Cris Style Mal Podcast, you can donate to Cris Mal Podcast. We'll appreciate whatever you donate to us. Whatever streaming platform you use to listen to your podcast, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, whatever you use, you can follow us on there. First time watchers on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, that like button, that notification button. So when we go live on Mondays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and Wednesdays 9-ish p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you could jump in the live like Mark did. Shout out to Stan. He came in here. Chuck came in for a little bit. Jump in here, talk about these topics, give your opinion, agree with us, disagree with us, man. We want to hear from you listening on the playback. Go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section too. But go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And whatever social media platform you use, whether it be Instagram, X, TikTok, Threads, Twitch, whatever you use, you can follow us at Cris Style Mal. We'll follow you back, man. We're just some regular guys who like to talk sports, music, movies, and all kinds of various other things. If you have feedback or critiques, or you have a question or topic, and we like said question or topic, we will shout you out. We will bring it up. And we like said question or topic, we will shout you out. We will bring it up because we want to show love to those who show love to us. So go ahead and hit us up via DM, emails, or our mention. All right, good people. Until Monday, man. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of y'all week. Be safe out there, man. 3-day weekend for some of y'all because Martin Luther King birthday on Monday.
Enjoy it. This might be the last Martin Luther King day we get.
Yeah, for sure. But until Monday, we are out.
Yeah, man. Y'all have a good night. Enjoy your weekend.